Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely, beautiful wife from Venezuela. And we went through the K1 visa process, just like you guys. It took us, what, 21 months, almost 22 months to get from anyway one letter to Karina getting her K1 visa and her passport. And we've been dating for a long time. We lived together for a long time in Colombia. And now here we are in Florida. And we're ready to answer all your K1 visa questions and your green card questions and your spousal visa questions and whatever questions you have about this horrible process, right? We know it's not easy going through a K1 visa process or going or waiting for the green card to come to your house, or if you're in a spousal visa, you got married in a foreign country and then you're coming to the United States on a spousal visa. All good. It's all good. I've been through it. I've been through the K1 visa process twice. I've been through the spousal visa. I can write the book on K1 visas, guys. I got 9 years of experience. I'm not an immigration attorney, okay? I don't give you any legal advice. I don't, work for USCIS. And they do a good job, by the way. They're working hard for you. I don't work for those guys, but I give you all of my knowledge for free up in my head from all this experience. And Karina, my beautiful wife, sitting right next to me with her Republic of Texas shirt on. Now, I bought her that t-shirt in Houston, Texas. I flew from Pensacola to Houston, Texas, and I got to layover in Texas. I brought it. I picked up the t-shirt for her, and then I flew to Panama, Central America. And then from Central America, Panama, I flew to Bogota, and Karina met me at the airport, and I gave her the t-shirt. And now the t-shirt's made its way all the way back to Florida. It's made the round trip. Mona Salem, hello, Diego. How long does it usually take to hear back from USCIS after mailing the adjustment of status package? Well, it's like you should get a letter within a month to set up the biometrics. And it usually takes about 4 to 6 months to get the green card. But within a month or two, you should get a letter for the biometrics appointment. So that's what you're waiting on right now, is the biometrics letter. Where it is, where it's going to be at, and etc. Now, you paid for the biometrics when you paid for your green card application. $1,225 for the green card application and the biometrics. It's all included. Well, it's $85 for the biometrics. But all those prices are going up on April 1st. So, immigration jacked the prices up. Intrinsic, hello, I'm unable to book my visa appointment in Lagos, Nigeria. It's been showing no appointments available for 3 months now. I was told there won't be an appointment available this year. That's not true. The U.S. Embassy in Lagos, Nigeria, are processing K1 visas. You're not going to have to wait the whole year of 2024 before you can schedule an appointment. You just got to keep looking, keep checking, and keep looking. Okay, and that's not true. It's not going to take you up till 2025 to book a visa appointment in Nigeria. It's not true. Ren S, help! I just got welcome letter. It has case number but no invoice. Okay, well then I can't log into the SEAC. So you need the invoice number to log into the SEAC with your case? I logged into the SEAC with just the case number. I didn't need an invoice number. I didn't get an invoice number for Karina. They gave me one eventually after I asked for one, but I didn't need it. So what I would do is send an inquiry to the NVC and ask them, explain to them, you can't log into SEAC without the invoice number, and would they please provide you with an invoice number, and they will send it to you. Jonathan Linda, very good video on removing conditions from green cards. You always give accurate information. Well, we're here for you, Jonathan. I've been there and done that, okay? I know how to do it. And the videos I make are 99.9% accurate. And if you can find a mistake, like I think I made one error, and it was irrelevant. But I usually am pretty accurate. Mona Salem, welcome to the USA. Mrs. Karina Ross. She's glad to be in Florida. We drove from Miami through probably, I don't know, we drove through about 40 different counties to here in Santa Rosa County. John A., there are no appointments open on the website for the embassy interview. How often should we check to avoid being locked out? Maximum of twice per day. If you go 3 times, you get locked out. So check twice. Then don't go past 2 times, okay? Ren S., and when I track it, it shows my cases in transit, and the MVC provided me with the information date, with the interview date, which they didn't even in welcome letter. What country? Ren S., what country are we talking about? You need to tell me what country. April Flower, hi Diego, do you know how to check if a visa appointment is available? Abu Dhabi. I couldn't keep track of checking every day since I work full time. You got to keep checking. You know, that's how you do it. If you want to look for an appointment, you got to take time and look for one, like I did. And, you know, got to look for it. Lily Larkin, hello Diego and Karina, welcome to the United States. Bienvenidos a Estados Unidos. Again, congratulations on your beautiful wedding. Thank you, Lily. We appreciate your kind words. And the time goes by quickly. David B., hi Diego, I reached out to the embassy because I haven't heard anything since I've been in ready status. DS-160 is done. Unable to pay visa fee or set up appointment. This is their response when I send. Well, you got to keep in touch with the embassy, okay? Because that will keep your NOA-2 letter from expiring. Because if you look at the NOA-2 letter, it says it's good for 4 months. But if you maintain communication with the MVC and or the embassy, that keeps your NOA-2 letter active. It won't expire. It says, dear applicant, thank you for contacting us. In order to attend your case and receive any questions, you must attach a copy of the consular appointment instruction letter received by the MVC. Yeah, that's the welcome letter. So the embassy is looking for the welcome letter from the National Visa Center. And you got to bring the welcome letter to the medical exam when you schedule the medical exam. They want to see that. Well, they did in Colombia. Shiku Dumboya. Hi, Diego. I have a question. I received my letter of appointment for my interview in Sierra Leone, but my daughter was not included because of passport. Now she has a passport. How can I add my daughter? Submit a DS-160 and schedule her visa interview and pay the visa fee. To add your daughter, she was included in the I-129F, right? Your daughter, she better have been. She was included in the K-1 visa application, right? So the embassy know that you have a K-2 derivative on your visa application. Submit a DS-160 for her, pay her visa fee, and schedule the visa interview to try and get it on the same day as yours. But it may not be able to now, okay? It was a big mistake that you didn't do all that, even though she didn't have her passport. You should have done it, because you know you can get the passport. Ren S., I can't log into or create a SIAC account without invoice. Okay, then what you need to do is you need to contact the National Visa Center and tell them that and explain your problem, and they will send you an invoice number. They'll send it to you. And then they'll also include in the email that we're no longer working your visa case. It's going to the embassy. David, basically, I haven't heard anything, received anything since my case has been in ready status. It's been over a month. Okay, well, the embassy's busy. That's why the embassy is very busy. Saying it was 3 weeks, I think, almost a month for me, for Karina in Bogota. John Arrow Camoni, they released an appointment date on January 22nd and also February 2nd in Lagos, Nigeria. There you go. There's the appointment date right there, January 22nd and in February 2nd. They are processing K-1 visas in Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And hopefully Denise Jefferson's watching, because her beneficiary is in Nigeria. Okay? The embassy's sending out bad information. They are processing K-1 visas in Nigeria. Harold Ren asks, he keeps asking for invoice number. Send an email to the MVC and ask them for the invoice number. They'll send it to you. Harold A., I got my NOA-2. Congratulations, Harold. Good job. Jacob Wisdom, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Ross. Jacob, what's going on, Jacob? Shiku Dumbaya, please help me, Diego. Help my daughter was not in appointment letter. How can I add my daughter for the interview? I want to bring my daughter. In order to get your daughter an appointment letter, you have to pay the visa fee and submit a DS-160 and schedule her appointment because she's a K2. You got to go into SEAC. Okay, you got to go into the SEAC, pay the visa fee, submit a DS-160 with your daughter's information, her name, her date of birth, where she lived. Okay, the security questionnaires. You have to do it for your daughter. If you that's why you're not getting it. That's why you can't. It doesn't show anything. Okay, a K2 is a separate visa, totally. K1 visa and a K2 visa are totally separate. Although the K2 is a derivative off of the K1. It's a non-immigrant visa until you get to the United States, when it transfers into an immigrant visa when you apply for the green card. You must remember, do you remember when you filed for your, Shiku, do you remember when you paid your visa fee, submitted the DS-160, scheduled the visa interview? Do you remember how to do that? You got to repeat that again for your daughter, and then she will be, then she'll get a letter. Okay, you got it? David B, NOA2 will expire March 30th. That's true. But if you send an inquiry to the NVC, then that will extend your NOA2 letter. Ren S, is there any other site I can go to check so I can create my SEAC that doesn't require an invoice? No. You go into SEAC. That's where you do it. Contact the NVC and ask them for the invoice number. They'll send it to you. It's in Accra, Ghana. Larry Piercy, what is the difference between the I-765 and the I-766? And which one goes with the green card application? And do you need the EAD for the social security number? 765 and 766, that's the employment and authorization document and the advanced parole document. Okay? If you want to travel with your beneficiary before you get the green card, you got to apply for an advanced parole. And then you can use the advanced parole to travel on, but I don't recommend you do that. Don't do that. Some Border Patrol officers may not let you back in the country. If you get to America, you get married, then you get an advanced parole, then you leave America. The Border Patrol don't like that. Immigration don't like that. If you're going to come to the United States and get married to live in the United States, come to the United States, get married and live in the United States, and get married and stay here and live here. That's the point of the visa, right? You're going to start your life here in America. So I don't recommend an advanced parole. I don't recommend using an advanced parole, although it's available if you want to. If you absolutely have to go back to your home country after you just got here, like if there's a family emergency, grandma got sick, somebody ran over the cat, and you got to leave the country, take a chance. But I don't recommend it. But I do recommend applying for the employment authorization document if you want to get your beneficiary's social security number updated quicker than waiting on the green card. You can go down to the Social Security office and apply for the social security number with the I-94 form, the passport, the K-1, and the marriage certificate in Florida. The Social Security office will issue your beneficiary a social security number, but it's only good for 90 days. So when you apply for the green card, include the documents for an EAD document. When the EAD document comes in, take that document back to the Social Security office, and then the Social Security Administration will update your social security number as basically indefinite. Let me see here. So David B, I attached that to the email inquiry. Okay. Ren S is my country. Okay. Ghana. Okay. So I explained to you, Larry, the difference between the 765 and the 766. And the 766, also don't get confused with the 693, which is the medical exam. And do you need the EAD for the Social Security number? Yes, you do, if you want to update the Social Security number before you get the green card. Jonathan Linder, USCIS will get my green card application for the adjustment of status tomorrow by 6 p.m. Okay. The 90-day deadline is this coming Sunday. I'm thinking that will be considered on time. It will be considered on time. You're good. Chris and Emma, how did Karina like the Super Bowl? I don't know. I didn't watch it. I don't think Karina watched it. I mean, I don't get excited over football. Okay, Karina, she doesn't either. We're not really, So we our opinion on the Super Bowl is you kneel, you don't, football. In the past, the NFL has basically disrespected our country by kneeling during the national anthem. I don't care what team it is. I don't care what the player's name is. It's irrelevant. But if you kneel during the national anthem, that's disrespecting the country of the United States. So I don't watch football anymore. So we didn't watch the Super Bowl. But I'm sure it was good. I'm sure. I'm not saying you shouldn't watch it, but I don't watch it. You only you don't kneel during the national anthem. And NFL players were kneeling during the national anthem, and that offended me. Okay, so I no longer watch or support NFL teams. Period. But I'm sure it was a good game. I think it was a good game. Jacob Wisdom, how long is the medical last for? It's for 6 months. The medical exam in the home country of Karina got her medical exam on November 8th of 2023. So her medical exam was good for 6 months until May 8th of 2024, which also means that the K1 visa was only good until May 8th of 2024, because the K1 visa is no good if the medical exam's expired. If you try to enter the United States of America with an expired medical exam, even though your K1 visa is still active, they won't let you in the country. So rule of thumb is this, okay? Start the countdown clock on your K1 visa the day your medical exam was adjudicated. Chris and Emma, calm down, Larry, be patient. Yeah, you got to be patient during this process, guys. Larry Piercy, sorry, I thought you skipped me. Larry Piercy, do you need the EAD for Social Security number? You asked me that already. Yes, you do. You go back to the Social Security Administration with the EAD document, and they will update your Social Security number. If you haven't applied for a Social Security number, you can go to the Social Security Administration with an EAD document, with your K1 visa, with your passport, with your marriage certificate, and then you can get a Social Security number that way. And you'll get it, there's several ways you can do it. That's just another way to do it. Shiku, her name was in the I-129F. Okay, good. But it's not possible to schedule an appointment in the same day as me. He took 3 months to find a date. I've already have a date. Can I book her different date to me? Yeah, you can do that. But if you can go ahead, what I would do is, how old is your daughter? Is she 18? I think your daughter's 18, right? But you got to pay the visa fee. You got to submit a DS-160, or she has to, and you got to schedule her an appointment. Okay? And then once you get that done, you've covered that base. Then what you want to do is contact the embassy and see if you can put the appointments together. But first, get that done. First, pay the visa fee. Schedule the appointment. Okay? Submit the DS-160. Print the confirmation page for the DS-160. Do that. Okay? Then, when you have your interview dates figured out, then you try to fix them where they're on the same day. Ross Lee, good evening, Diego and Karina. Diego, how does owing back taxes affect the decision at the K1 interview in Bogota? Well, it probably won't affect you at the interview in Bogota, Colombia, because they'll just look at your income and see how much you made for the year of 2023 or 2022, whatever time it is you go for your visa interview. But it does affect you for when you apply for U.S. citizenship. If you owe taxes, okay, if you owe taxes and you apply for U.S. citizenship, if your sponsor owes taxes, it's a good idea to pay them off before the interview to become a U.S. citizen, okay? But it's not going to affect you on a K-1 visa application. They'll look. They may not even know that you owe taxes, okay? But it's very important that you get all your taxes caught up before you go for U.S. citizenship for your beneficiary. Larry Piercy, I want just the I-765. There you go. That's all you want. It's the EAD, Employment Authorization Document. That's all you want. I'm not going anywhere until green card. That's the right answer again. Don't go anywhere till you get the 2-year green card if you must travel. We're not going to travel anywhere outside of the United States until Karina's a U.S. citizen. And she's got a U.S. passport in her hand. Okay, we're done with immigration, guys. I'm sick and tired of immigration. I've had it up to here. So when we travel again, we'll be traveling as American citizens. Well, Karina, I'm already a citizen. She will be a U.S. citizen. And we're going to go to England for a vacation. We're going to go probably to Colombia to see her family. We'll probably, if we can go to Venezuela, we'll go to Venezuela. Hopefully there's a new government in Venezuela. That communist dictator hopefully will be removed this November. Maduro, that communist, get rid of that warmonger. And then we can go visit her mom in Venezuela. Chico, Diego, can I take her to the interview on different dates to me because it's not possible to have the same date as me. If we have different, can I take to bring her to the interview with you? Sure. You can do that. Bring her with you to your visa interview. But what you got to do is you got to submit the DS-160 for her. You've got to pay the visa fee for her. And you got to print the confirmation page of the DS-160. And then you schedule the biometrics and the visa interview. Do all that. You must do that. Then bring her with you to your visa interview and say, here's my daughter. Can you process her K2 visa with me? Okay. Ask them. I don't think there'll be a problem. But you won't be able to do that. Your daughter's 10 years old. Most definitely you can bring her with you. Okay. But you got to get her visa fee paid off. You got to fill out her DS-160 and you got to schedule her an interview. All right. You must do that. And then once you've done all that, then you've covered the base. Then you can then work on the administrative side of bringing her with you to your visa interview and get it knocked out in one day. Okay. Chico, this is becoming very difficult. You might not bring her. Yeah, you're going to bring her. Your 10-year-old daughter's coming with you to America, and I'm going to help you do it. Just got to listen to me. Tuan Benson, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Ross from Miami. Hey, hola, ¿cómo estás in Miami? April Flower, what if I didn't give my 2-week notice as an employee? Will that affect my K-1 visa process? No, you don't. No, not at all. Larry Piercy, can you keep my pup? He's kitty friendly. No, we don't. No, Tokyo doesn't need any house guests. Our cat doesn't need any friends here. Ren S, whenever I try to create a case in SEAC, it asks for my case number and invoice number from the MVC. Then it asks who I am. In my welcome letter, there's no invoice number. So I don't understand how you didn't have to put an invoice number. I didn't have to. I didn't have to. The U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia didn't need an invoice number. So they allowed me to continue with the SEAC without it. I think what I used was the DS-160 confirmation number. That's what I used. I believe that's what I used. I put the case number and the DS-160 confirmation number, and that took me right in there. But that was for Bogota, Colombia. So Ren S, which country? Remind me. You guys, you gotta remind me what country you guys are processing your visas from, so I can help you guys with the answers. But I didn't need an invoice number to schedule Karina's visa interview in Bogota, Colombia. I used the case number, and I believe, if I remember, it was the confirmation number from the DS-160. That's what I believe is what I had. Ren S, why are they making me get the invoice number? Because your embassy is I don't know what country you're in. Probably your country requires an invoice number to process the visa interview. They're asking you for the invoice number because the embassy is asking for it. And the way to get it is to get off this live stream and send an inquiry to the National Visa Center and say, I cannot proceed with my SEAC account without the invoice number. Please send it to me. And then jump back on the live stream and tell me that you did that. That way you'll fix the problem and you'll get your invoice number in probably 2 or 3 days. Okay? That's my opinion. I'm just trying to help you and I'm trying to get Shiku to understand that she will be able to bring her daughter to the United States on a K2 so long as she fills out the DS-160, pays the visa fee, schedules her interview, and then once you get that done, then you can ask the embassy to combine the interviews together. Okay? That's what I would do. Ren S, I don't have a DS-160 confirmation number. Sure you do. Everybody on the planet going for a K1 visa who fills out a DS-160 gets a confirmation number after they submit the DS-160. You submit the DS-160 to the embassy, you print the confirmation page, and lo and behold, there it is, the confirmation number for the DS-160. I haven't filled out the DS-160 yet, just got my welcome letter. Well, there you go. That's part of the problem, perhaps, right there in Accra, Ghana. Okay, so I see the problem. What you should do is go ahead and see if you can submit the DS-160 to the embassy in Ghana. Submit the DS-160, and then get the confirmation number from the DS-160, and then you'll have 2 numbers to work with. You have your case number, and you'll have your DS-160 confirmation number, and then use that number in place of your invoice number. See if that works. It did for me. God's Power Thomas. Hello, Diego. I called Senegal today. They told me they don't have any code yet to give me to go pay for my K1 interview while my case ready. Go pay visa fee. So the embassy told you they don't have a code yet to give you to go pay for your K1 visa interview. Okay. So you're still waiting for the embassy in Senegal to get freed up and have an appointment day ready for you where you can schedule your appointment. KJB, hi Diego. It's been a month now since ready status in Freetown, Sierra Leone. That's in West Africa, right? Central West Africa. And I've paid my fee through a bank as instructed by packet 3, packet 4. Still no date for me to pick for my interview. I was told to check it next month after emailing the consulate. Well, I wouldn't wait till next month because I would check twice a day. I would check every day, once or twice a day, and you might get lucky and see you might get lucky and find an appointment open up. I can't log into the SEAC. I didn't fill out the DS-160 yet. Are you telling me you got to log into the SEAC account to process the DS-160? If that's the case, you must send an email inquiry to the National Visa Center and ask them for your invoice number. I did it. I did that, and I didn't even need it. I didn't even have to use it. Ren S, I tried to use my cell number to fill out the DS-160, but it wouldn't let me choose a security question. No, you cannot use your cell number to fill out the DS-160. You got to use a desktop computer for security. The algorithm, whatever it is at the embassy, has a problem. Do I need to use a laptop? Yeah, a laptop is good, and so is a desktop. Using your cell phone isn't going to work. U.S. embassies don't like people using cell phones to process those kind of sensitive documents. Okay? They don't like that. I couldn't even buy plane tickets for Karina and I to fly from Bogota to Miami on my laptop. I had to go in person and pay in face-to-face so they could look at my credit card. Oh, yeah, it's real. It's real. I mean, it's security, right? So get on your laptop and fill out your DS-160 and submit it to the embassy. Then you'll get a confirmation number. You must print your DS-160 confirmation page. You got to print it. So make sure you are next to a printer when you fill out your DS-160. God's Power Thomas, Mr. Diego, my fiance is yet to have her W-2 for 2023. Don't worry about it. But has sent me 2019, 2021, and 2022. Is that okay? Perfectly fine. You're perfectly good there with that, God's Power Thomas. I'll give you a thumbs up. Don't worry about your 2023 tax returns, okay? As long as your interview appointment is before April 15th, 2024. Ren S, my cell wouldn't let me do it. I'll do as you said from my laptop. There you go. You can't do it from a cell phone. Shiku, Diego, I can't find a date for her. It's difficult to get a date in Sierra Leone. It took me 3 months unless I take to the interview some other after my interview. Here's what I would do. Shiku, fill out a DS-160 for your 10-year-old daughter. Pay the visa fee for your 10-year-old daughter. Get the confirmation number and print the DS-160 confirmation page. And then try to schedule her an interview. If it takes 3 months, it takes 3 months. But if your K-1 visa interview is before that time, bring your daughter to the K-1 visa interview with her passport, with her birth certificate, with her DS-160 confirmation page, with she's 10 years old. You don't need a police certificate. Bring all of those documents to her birth certificate, original, a copy of her original, a DS-160 confirmation page, the receipt that you paid for the visa. Do her passport. Bring all that stuff to the visa interview. That is your scheduled visa interview, and see if they will process her K2 visa on that same day as yours. Okay. But they're not going to do anything for you until you pay the visa fee and fill out the DS-160. You got to have those 2 documents on file at the embassy. Then try to create an account in the SEAC. There you go, Ren S. You've learned a lot today. You've learned a lot today. Larry Piercy, they will keep the I-134. Yes, they will keep it. They will scan it and shred it, because there's a lot of original stuff. They will keep the I-134, they will scan it into their computer, and they will shred it. Larry Piercy, am I getting confused? But they will keep both I-129F and I-134. I-129F and I-134 belongs to the U.S. government. You don't get it back. They scan it and shred it. You will get a scanned copy of your I-129F when you get your NOA-2 letter, or perhaps when you get your NOA-2 letter, they'll send you a scanned copy of the I-129F. But I made copies of Karina's I-129F. I knew when it goes to the U.S. government, I don't see it again. And the I-134 belongs to the U.S. government. Once you give it to the embassy officer, it belongs to him or her. They scan it. That's it. Then you never see it again. Ren S, but when I checked my case status with the case number MVC provided in the welcome email today, it says in transit and that the MVC assigned my interview. And yet in my welcome letter, it doesn't say anything. Ren S, what country? What country are you in? Susie Galdamez. Hello, Diego and Karina. What's going on, Susie? Why is the status showing this? It's Accra, Ghana. Okay. So in Accra, Ghana, they met the NVC may be scheduling visa interviews for you. Okay. The NVC, the National Visa Center in New Hampshire, may schedule the visa interview for you in Accra, Ghana. That could be possible. Then you don't need an invoice number. Then you don't have to worry about it. But you got to pay the visa fee, right? And you got to fill out the DS-160. I got you. Okay, Ren S, I understand now. Accra, Ghana. Okay. So what I would do is send an inquiry to the National Visa Center and ask them for the invoice number. Tell them, thank you so much. You gave me the case number, but I need the invoice number. Okay, I got you, Ren. I got you. But you got to get the invoice number from the National Visa Center. They're the ones that issue it. They issue it. Susie Galdamez to Intrinsic. I can help you with the visa appointment in Nigeria. There you go, Susie. Look at that. This channel is your channel, guys. It belongs to you. It was Karina's idea to put it together. I put it together. I deleted my Ren S. Let me explain to you one more time. It won't let you log in. Right. So you need to send an inquiry to the NVC and ask them for the invoice number. And you will have it in 2 to 3 days. There you go. Aha! There you go. High five to Ren. Send an inquiry to the National Visa Center. Please, I need my invoice number. They will send it to you. I know it's a stressful process, guys, going through this K1 visa process. It's not easy to do it. It's technical. There's a lot of bureaucratic stuff in here you got to go through just to get to the NOA2 letter. And when you get the NOA2 letter after 12 months or so, then you got to go through all these other hoops to get a visa interview. And it's not easy, especially if the embassy is busy, like Senegal. Senegal, it's 6 months, you still can't get a visa interview? That's crazy. Senators need to be stepping in and fixing these problems. What are they, just lazy? What do they work 3 days a week? What's the problem with Senegal? The ambassador in Senegal, what is he doing? What is he doing? How's he running his embassy? Do they even work there? It shouldn't take 6 months to get a visa interview. Ren S, I'll email them. That's what you need to do. You got to send an inquiry email to the National Visa Center and ask them for the invoice number, because you tell them you cannot proceed with your visa application without it. They will respond to you. I sent an NVC inquiry for Karina's invoice number. They responded in 2 days and they said, well, your case is in Colombia. We're not going to deal with you anymore, but here's your invoice number. I said, well, thank you very much. I don't want to deal with you anymore, NVC. I'm sick and tired of NVC. I'm sick and tired of USCIS. I wanted to get to the embassy level. It's like a video game, right? You go through, you got to get from level to level. You got, you go, oh, okay, I made it to NOA2 letter. And then you go to the MVC letter. And then you get to the in transit and the ready status. And then you got to do all this DS-160 stuff. And it's a lot of work. And when you get to the United States, you got to jump through all these hoops again for the green card. And then 2 years after that, you got to do it again. And then a year after that, if you want, become a U.S. citizen. And then you can wash your hands of all this immigration drama and stress that's put on your lives by the U.S. government. But it's there for a reason. National security. That's the reason. Homeland Security runs it. The Homeland Security took over immigration processing, I don't know, probably after 9/11. I think that's when it happened. It used to be called Immigration and Naturalization Service, the INS. And then that went away and it became USCIS under Homeland Security because of terrorism and stuff like that. But, it is what it is. The U.S. government's protecting the borders of our country. Well, we would think they are, right? Only if you're coming here legally. If you're coming to the United States as a legal resident, then you got to go through all these hoops. If you're coming here as an illegal person and you claim asylum, okay, because you don't like living in Colombia anymore because the weather sucks, and then they give you asylum, then, you get all these handouts. Francois Livingston, good evening, Diego and Karina. You two look marvelous. Who was it who used to say that? You look marvelous. There was somebody back in the 80s or the 70s who used to say that. It's good to see Francois. Now, Francois is from upstate New York, where it's cold and it's freezing. And she's getting closer and closer to her NOA 2 letter. And when she gets her NOA 2 letter, then we're going to help her get to the MVC welcome letter. Billy Crystal. Was that who said that? Billy Crystal? I think it was, Francois. Shiku, can I take her to the interview after my interview is done on a different day? Bring it, Shiku, bring your 10-year-old daughter to your K1 visa interview. Bring her to your K1 visa interview with the DS-160 that you filled out for her, with the receipt, the MERV receipt that you paid the visa fee for your daughter, with her passport, her birth certificate, okay, a copy of her birth certificate. Bring all that stuff to your K1 visa interview with your 10-year-old. And then tell the immigration officer, this is your daughter. She was included on the I-129F as a derivative K2, but you couldn't, but her interview date is on a different day from yours. And the immigration officer is going to say, okay, well, let's see if we can get this done today. But you got to bring the DS-160 for you and your daughter. You got to bring the MERV receipt showing you paid the visa fee for you and your daughter. You must bring your passport and her passport, your birth certificate and her birth certificate, copies of her birth certificate, copies of your birth certificate. Okay, all that stuff you got to bring to your visa interview with your daughter. And I'm pretty sure the immigration officer will cut you a big break and file and process the K2 at the same time as your K1. But they won't do it if you don't file the DS-160, if you don't pay the visa fee, okay? You got to do those two things at a minimum, okay? And you got to bring those confirmation pages to the visa interview. I'm trying to help you, Shiku. I don't want you to be stuck. I don't want your 10-year-old to be left behind, okay? I want you to accompany your 10-year-old to the United States with you on a plane to America, and you can do it if you listen to what I said, okay? This is the way you can do it, all right? I'm not promising you anything, but I am going to say to you, if you have the DS-160 filled out, if you have the passport, without an expiration date, if you do all the things I just told you to do, and you bring it to your visa interview, I'm pretty sure they will cut you a big break and change her visa interview to your visa interview and process both visas at the same time. Trust me, immigration don't like any extra work more than you do. They will cut down their workload. It will free up an appointment for somebody else, okay? But if you do what I just said, I'm 99% sure it's going to work out, okay? So it's up to you now. I've guided you down a path. Now I need for you to go ahead and take some action and make it happen. Okay? So go ahead and file for your daughter's DS-160, pay her visa fee, get all the documents together, print the DS-160 confirmation page, and then look to schedule her a visa interview. Okay? It might take 3 months. When you go to your visa interview, bring your daughter with you with all the documents that's required for her to get her K2 and say, look, my daughter's interview is on this day. Can you do the K2 with me today on this day? And I have got probably a very strong feeling that will happen. Okay? Because they're not going to want to abandon a 10-year-old in, you got it? You got this, okay? Shiku, you understand what I told you, right? Bud Garcia, hello, Diego and Karina from Washington State. Sorry I'm late. You're not late. Nobody's ever late. You got your time. You got things going on in your life, okay? So when you when you jump in on the live stream, this is your time. This is your channel. We do this for you. I could be watching a movie right now with Karina. But no, I'm going to help you guys get through this K1 visa process or green card or whatever it is. I'm here to help you. So Bud Garcia, now Bud, your beneficiary, your beautiful Pramatitas in Thailand, right? She's near Bangkok. She lives close to Bangkok. You just got off of work and driving home. Well, if you're driving, okay, listen to the live stream. Don't watch it. I don't want you getting in a car wreck over a live stream. That's not good. And today, Karina was driving again. I'm teaching her how to drive, and she's great. She's learning how to drive like a champ. She's going to be. It's like next she'll be flying planes. Get her a pilot's license. She'll be flying planes then helicopters. Bud Garcia, yes, she is. Now my dad lives in Thailand. Okay, he lives in Chiang Mai. And Bud Garcia, congratulations, Karina. She's driving like a champ. She's learning. The hardest part I think is learning the steering, because she's learning left from right. Escuela de derecha. You got to learn left from right. That's the hardest part. But as far as confidence and as far as her confidence in driving, I got no worries. She's going to be good to go. She hasn't driven on the freeway yet, or on the highways, or any roads. It's all been on private property until she gets absolutely 100% confident on understanding the steering wheel and how to back in and reverse and all this other jazz. But if these are things you got to think about when you're going through a K1 visa. If your beneficiary, let's suppose she's from the Philippines, or she's from India, or from wherever, Colombia. If your beneficiary doesn't know how to drive, you're going to have to teach her how to drive, right? You don't want to. In America, unless you live in New York or Los Angeles, and if you do, I send you my condolences. But if you live there, you got the metro, you got the underground, you got buses and transportation and taxis. But here in Florida, in rural Florida, there's no Transmilenio, there's no buses. You got to either learn to drive or hitchhike, right? I don't recommend you do that. So teach your ask your beneficiary, hey, do you know how to drive a car? Ask her or him. You know how to drive? What if you live in rural Tennessee? There's no buses there. Bud Garcia and a 5-speed, like I have to do for my fiance. Yeah, I learned how to drive a car stick shift first. I learned how to drive a stick shift, and then I learned how to drive an automatic. But I can drive either or. Well, I don't have a stick shift, so it's hard to find one. So Karina's going to learn how to drive an automatic. I would much prefer that she learn how to drive a stick shift first, like I did, because then you can drive any car, anything. You can drive anything. But it's unfortunate, but Karina's driving around in a Chevrolet, and she likes driving. So that's good. Okay, guys, come on, give me some questions. Throw me some K1 visa questions. What's the hardest thing that you guys? What's the most difficult part of this process besides waiting? What do you find the paperwork difficult to fill out? Larry Piercy and Bud, they drive on the wrong side of the street up your car insurance. Who drives on the wrong side of the street? Oh, in Thailand? I don't know what side of the street they drive on in Thailand. I've never been there. Oh yeah, I got you. I've never been to Thailand. I don't plan on going there. But I'm going to take Karina to England, and I'm going to take her back to see her mom in Venezuela. Hopefully, the country gets uncommunized. That's the problem right now with Venezuela. Is there's like 7 million people left Venezuela and they moved to other countries. Bud Garcia, why does USCIS still have my I-129? Because it's government property. It's not your I-129, it's theirs. The I-129F form belongs to the U.S. government. It's not your form. All you do is fill it out with information. You send it to USCIS, to the lockbox in Dallas and Louisville. They send it to the service center in probably California. And then what they're going to do is scan it and send you a scanned copy of it when you get the NOA2 letter. But the I-129F doesn't belong to you. Your U.S. passport doesn't belong to you. Karina's green card will not belong to Karina. It will belong to the U.S. government. It all belongs to the government. You borrow in it, okay? Larry Pierce said they drive on the wrong side of the road in England. Yeah, they do. I've been driving. I've driven a car in England, and they got all these crazy roundabouts. You got to figure out the roundabouts, and they drive on the wrong side of the road. It's like the movie European Vacation with Chevy Chase. Have you seen that movie? It's funny, man. That movie's funny. You see Chevy Chase trying to get to, I can't get left. Look, kids, Big Ben, Buckingham Palace. KJB, do I have to bring the I-129F to the interview? No, you don't. You don't. The I-129F, you fill it out, you sign it in black ink, you date it, you make a copy of it for your records at your house, you make a copy of it for your beneficiary, for her house or his house, and then you mail it off, the original, to the lockbox in Dallas. They get it. They make sure you didn't mess it up. Then they send it to the service center in California or Texas or Nebraska or wherever. When it comes your turn for adjudication, they will scan the I-129F. They will send the scanned copy to you. They will, with an email. They will send a scanned copy to the National Visa Center, and then the National Visa Center will send the scanned copy to the embassy. That's how it works. The form belongs to the government. Do you have to bring the form to the interview? No, you don't. You don't have to. But the immigration officer, the consular officer, will probably use information out of the I-129F for interview questions. Okay? Be ready for that. Bud Garcia, will my approval letter expire since they still have it? Your approval letter, your NOA-2 letter, once you get it, is good for 4 months. You keep it active and you keep extending it by emailing the MVC and emailing the embassy. That keeps your NOA-2 letter active, okay? So it doesn't expire. If you submit an I-129F to the Louisville, Texas, and then 6 months later, in the middle of your K-1 visa process, that I-129F form expires, you're still good. Your form didn't expire because it was submitted before it expired. So you're good. If you send any documents to immigration at all during the immigration process, and those forms expire after immigration receive it, like 3 months later, 6 months later, you're good. Bud Garcia, yes. So you got an NOA-2 letter. It's good for 4 months. If you send an MVC inquiry to the MVC, if you send an email to the embassy, that automatically extends your NOA-2 letter. KJB, I never got scanned copy. I'm now at the embassy stage. Don't worry about it. You're good. They didn't send you a scanned copy. Don't worry about it. Bud Garcia, but USCIS still has my I-129F. Okay, well, when they get done adjudicating it, they will send it to the National Visa Center, and then the National Visa Center will then send it to the embassy in Thailand. USCIS is still sitting on your NOA-2 letter, on your K-1 visa package. They will mail it to the National Visa Center probably, I would say, this month, in my best guess. And it's not your I-129F, it's the government's. When you fill out the I-129F, make a copy for you, Mr. Sponsor, make a copy for your beneficiary. When I filed Karina's K-1 visa package back in April of 2022, I made a copy of the entire package, including the I-129F. I brought that information to Karina in Colombia. So, Bud, you got your NOA-2 letter, okay, no problem. That's fine. So the service center has approved your K-1 visa. Now you're waiting for the service center to mail it to the National Visa Center. They will send it probably this month, considering you've been waiting this long. Then you will get a welcome letter from the MVC. The MVC will then call the embassy in Thailand and see how busy they are. If they're not too busy, they will schedule you a case number and an invoice number, hopefully an invoice number. And then they will then mail it to the embassy in Bangkok, Thailand, and you will get it in transit status. And then you will get a ready status, and then you'll get an email from the embassy saying, go ahead and pay your visa fee and start the process to schedule the visa interview appointment and the biometrics. But if you got your NOA2 letter, bud, you have an approved K1 visa. Make 4 copies of your NOA2 letter. Make sure your beneficiary gets a copy of the NOA2 letter. Doesn't have to be the original. You can PDF. You can do a scanned PDF and email it to her. Make sure she has a copy of it, because she must bring the NOA2 letter to the visa interview in Bangkok, Thailand. You must include the NOA2 letter in your green card application. Bud Garcia, it has been 4 months from the NOA2 letter. Well, then tomorrow, or in maybe next week, or in 3 or 4 days, maybe in a week, you will get the welcome letter from the MVC. You're right there at the finish line, Bud, on your MVC welcome letter. Any day now. It's any day. If you've been waiting for, if USCIS has been sitting on it for 4 months, okay, I'm pretty sure that you will get your welcome letter from the MVC any day now. Okay, relax. USCIS sat on my K1 visa package for 4 months after the NOA2 letter. I got the NOA2 letter, and then 4 months later, 4 months later, I got the MVC welcome letter. So relax. Okay, guys, I've been talking for an hour. I'm gonna. What day is it? It's Monday. Lunes. Today is Monday. I will be back on Wednesday, guys. Unless you have a bunch of questions for me, I'll check back in Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time, and we will continue our chat. Okay. Thanks for joining us on the live stream. We appreciate your time, and I'm here for you. I'm going to help you get through this process. Shiku, do what I told you. Do what I told you to do, Shiku. And Bud Garcia, it's frustrating. No, you just got to be patient. And we will see you on Wednesday night at 6 p.m.